Chicago Sky fans everywhere are waiting on the WNBA to resume their season once the Olympics are over. But on today's episode, I'm going to take a look at the three key players for the Chicago Sky and grade their season so far. We're also going to preview USA versus Belgium. We're going to get into all that and more, plus a little bit of the mailbag right after this.
Welcome to Chicago Sky Central, and here's your host, Haize.
What's going on, Sky fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Sky Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related. I'm the host, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Chicago Sky Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into this content for today. And I wanted to start, with this break that we have. It's still going to be quite a while away, about 2 weeks away from the WNBA season resuming. I wanted to spend that time giving grades out to the Chicago Sky players that are on the roster so far. And I'll continue this with doing the rest of the roster if you guys like it. I picked out the three players I think people are going to want to hear from the most. You guys can let me know if you want me to continue doing grades after that point. But today we're going to be grading Chennedy Carter, Angel Reese, and Kamilla Cardoso for a lot of different reasons. How has their season been so far for the Chicago Sky? I'm going to warn you guys right now. You guys know I am a huge Sky fan, but I am not a blind Sky fan. That means I'm not going to overlook some of the negatives, only to talk about some of the positives, which it seems like a lot of people like to do when it comes down to our Skies. Just look at the positives. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to look at the negatives as well. So I want to be clear in that. So, yeah, prepare to be triggered, maybe. We'll see how everything goes with that. But let's start off with Chennedy Carter. And the reason why I want to start off with Chennedy is because Chennedy was an unknown commodity in the sense that we just didn't know how she was going to be on this team exactly, right? We know that Chennedy Carter always had the capability of being a scorer. She can be absolute firepower. She also has the ability to be a little bit of a hothead. Right now, I think that coming to the Chicago Sky, being embraced by Teresa Weatherspoon and a franchise that wanted her, I think that that's helped calm Chennedy Carter down a lot, on top of just the added maturity from Chennedy Carter and her understanding that she has a role in the city that's really embracing her in a lot of ways, right? And really, Chennedy Carter's season, to me, it was good, right? But it really hit a point where it just peaked, and it stayed at that after that first game against the Indiana Fever, where she got kind of judged harshly for that foul on Caitlin Clark, and she really dealt with that. I think she saw a team that supported her, right? That didn't turn their back on her. You didn't have a coach that took away minutes from her because she made a mistake or anything like that. And she just has played with a level of calm and poise since then it's been evident to see for her in the Chicago Sky. We look at it, what she's brought to this team. She's only started 11 games so far out of the 23 games that she's played, which, that is what it is. We know she started off coming off the bench. But then when you look at the production for Chennedy Carter, 16.4 points per game, which is the second highest of her WNBA career. Only her rookie year was more at 17.4, but she's averaged way more as a starter, so we know that that's the case as well when you look at that, right? You want to factor that in. Also, the way that she shot the ball, 45% overall from the field. She's not taking a lot of threes. 51% overall from the field, 23% from three, but she's not taking it. She's taking less than one three-pointer per game. And then you also look at the steals, 1.2 steals per game, which is almost double the highest amount that she's ever had in her WNBA career. 2.7 assists. We understand that she's not playing point guard here. She's playing shooting guard, and that's perfectly fine. Also, the 3 rebounds per game. At being 5'9", one of the smaller players on the court, listen, you gotta love what Chennedy Carter's bringing to the Chicago Sky team. But then it's more than just the numbers, right? And that's something that I want to spend some time talking about. It's not just the numbers in regards to this. When you see her play, she is the offense at times for the Chicago Sky, and you cannot take that away from her. She is a player that gives so much when you look at it, and the way that she just continues to perform. She doesn't back down. She doesn't shy away from contact. When the Sky need a big bucket, typically you can give the ball to Chennedy Carter, and she's going to find a way to get something done. Now, things that I would like to see Chennedy Carter do a little bit more. Yes, she's averaging the solid steal number, but as I said, I'm going to be a little bit harsher than I think some people would like to be, some of the more casuals. Steals don't mean you're playing good defense. Steals means you're getting steals. You're being active. But the on-ball defense from Chennedy Carter at times leaves some to be desired. Now, the thing I will say, she's active. You won't get the thing where you're catching Chennedy Carter just completely falling asleep on defense. So I got to give her credit for that. But it's really things that she still needs to tighten up defensively that I would like to see her kind of the better awareness sometimes defensively. I think off ball is where she has kind of some of the biggest flaws in regards to her game defensively. It's just sometimes off ball, she like I said, it's not that she falls asleep per se, but it's like whether it's not fighting through screen, something like that. And the size aspect plays a part in that as well. But she's always given effort. And so because of the effort aspect of it, it's hard to really knock her too much for her defensive effort. I do think that's going to round out for her. And the steals are a big part as well. You're creating extra possessions for your team. She leads the Chicago Sky in scoring, and that's not hard to watch. When you watch Chennedy Carter play the game of basketball, you're seeing somebody who's passionate. And that's another aspect that's not quantifiable about Chennedy Carter, is how she energizes the crowd and her teammates as well. She gets everybody fired up because she plays with so much heart. So if I had to give things that I want to see Chennedy Carter tighten up in her game, it's the off-ball defense I would like to see tighten up for sure. On ball, she's pretty active and solid. There's just going to be times she's guarding somebody that's bigger than her. And then on top of that, I would like to see at times where Chennedy Carter drives to the lane because she is so good at getting into the lane, it's to her to keep her head up a little bit more to catch players that are open, that are either cutting or a big that's open. That's just little criticisms to Chennedy Carter's game that I have looked at and seen. But overall, Chennedy Carter, it's going to be hard to get an A for me. Not a lot of there's only one player on this team that's getting an A for me, but she gets a solid B+. And just the way that she's played, like I said, defense being a little bit better at times would definitely push this into A. But Chennedy Carter has been everything plus more that I'm sure the Chicago Sky were hoping they were going to get when they brought in Chennedy Carter to this team. But let's get into the next player, right? I sandwiched this one, Angel Reese, and I know that's what everybody's going to want to hear from. And we just got to talk about Angel, how the season started off for Angel Reese. Right? She looked at times out of place, I think would be still a fair way to word it, how she's been at times kind of out of place a little ways. And that's not necessarily on just her, right? Like she's acclimating to the game of the WNBA. When you look at, matter of fact, her first few games in the WNBA, like she didn't score relatively well, right? Like she scored in double digits, but still had some things that she needed to tighten up on, right? And then when you start seeing after probably about that first 4 to 5 games, where Angel Reese was no longer looking or trying to determine where she was supposed to be on offense or defense in the scheme, that's where you started seeing Angel Reese. Angel Reese. Whoa, what I thought I said Chennedy Carter. That's where you really started to see Angel Reese take her game to the next level. And after that, once the Commissioner's Cup play really started for Angel Reese, which was around June 1st, it's just been a different game for Angel. I'd say probably the first 3 games of Angel Reese were rough, right? You look at first 3 games, all shooting in the 30%, but then she got a 44% game, a 44% game, back to 37%. But then that Commissioner's Cup series, it really seemed like the level of competition and how harsh Indiana, Liberty, the Mystics, and the Dream were all fighting in those games, that it just helped Angel Reese understand, oh, this is what I can do. This is what I can excel at. Not just do, this is how I can thrive in a WNBA league. And from that point, the sky has been the absolute limit for Angel Reese. Still has some efficiency issues around scoring, and that's going to come with time. That is what it is. She doesn't always shoot the best percentages, but the narrative around her that she only rebounds off her own misses has well been debunked, and it's idiotic if people still keep saying that. Then you look at through the 24 games, she's averaging 13.5 points per game, 12 rebounds per game, basically 11.9, we're going to round up, and 1.4 steals per game. Angel Reese. And when people say, how can you put Angel Reese with that field goal shooting percentage in the Rookie of the Year conversation? You're an idiot if you don't realize that, no, she deserves to be in that Rookie of the Year conversation. What she's been able to do in dictating, I talked about Chennedy Carter and how her energy gets the players energized. Angel Reese is the same thing. She's already starting to step into a leadership role to where her absence, when she's sitting down, it's a noticeable different energy level for the Chicago Sky. And she is not back down. She has embraced every step of every bit of hurdle or anything or physicality that's come from the other WNBA players every step of the way. The way that Angel Reese has scored, and I'll say this, for the people who like to look at just her field goal shooting percentage and say, hey, but if you can average 13.5 points per game on shooting 40% from the field, listen here. And you can refine that with better point guard play that can get you the ball better, which I do hope that the Sky are going to focus on getting a point guard in here during the offseason. The sky is the limit for Angel Reese. And we're going to be talking about a player in Angel Reese who's going to be breaking records for years and years to come. The double-double record that she broke, right? Her performance in the All-Star game. Angel Reese, at every step of the way that she's just been spectacular. And that I'm not saying perfect, but she has been spectacular. She now has the record of most consecutive double-doubles in league history. And she did that from June 4th to July 11th. 15 straight double-doubles. And that is something, hey, she's still not done. She's going to have eventually the double-double record, right? And so when it comes down to it, the way that Angel Reese has performed over this season, the way that she's dealt with any and all adversity, and she's not let it change her, you can say what it is. You can call me being a homer, but Angel Reese absolutely gets an A from me, and that just is what it is. Angel Reese, I love it. She has things that she needs to work on as well, right? I need to see better recognition. And sometimes in pick and rolls, when you have a driving guard there, when she gets switched on guards, I would like to see that tighten up. Of course, the field goal shooting percentage, I would like to see tighten up as well. And then I would like to see, and this isn't really on her, but the few flashes that we've gotten from Angel Reese in which she's done some ball handling and played the point forward role, she's damn near thrived in. So I would like to see a little bit more of that. But again, that's not on her. That's on the coaching staff. But Angel Reese, gotta love the way that she's playing the game of basketball. The next player that I want to talk about has been a little bit more polarizing, I think, and that is Kamilla Cardoso. Like I said, I wanted to look at these three players specifically because these are the three players that I think have performed consistently the best. Michaela Onyewerede is probably right outside of that as well, especially while she played more late than early. Dana Evans is somebody I got to talk about as well if you guys want to keep this series going. But overall, the way that Kamilla Cardoso has played for the Chicago Sky team, and a player that missed a big chunk of the beginning of their rookie year, had to acclimate to a team that at that point was still acclimating to Angel Reese and trying to figure out their own balance. And while I get it, she's not been as aggressive as what a lot of Sky fans would like to see her be, and she's not really flashed that consistently that same kind of dominance that she had in South Carolina, which is perfectly fine, right? She has tons of time to grow. But when you look at it, she averaged in college career highs of 14.4 points per game, 9.7 rebounds, and shot 59% of the field to go along with 1.5 blocks per game. We haven't seen yet that Kamilla Cardoso, but everybody's rookie year does not accelerate at the same rate and degree. But for Kamilla to still, through that, to not be a player, she doesn't get offensive plays really called for her. She doesn't have a point guard that can get her the ball in pick and rolls. That has not been a consistent thing. But when you look at Kamilla Cardoso's averages, still averaging over a block per game, 8.2 points, 7.8 rebounds per game, and right under a steal per game, but shooting an efficient 46% from the field. Kamilla Cardoso right now, the reason why I'm not judging her as harshly as what some Sky fans do as far as the dominance aspect is because she's still filling it out and filling and understanding her place as well as facing players that are just way more physical than what she's faced on a night-in, night basis being in South Carolina. But make no mistake about it, Kamilla Cardoso is the center of the future for the Chicago Sky team, which is center of now, but she is going to be one of the dominant centers. And losing a player like Elizabeth Williams as well, Will, not having her out there definitely hurts the development as well because having that veteran who can kind of step in. But Kamilla Cardoso has played extremely well. And really, when you look at it, she's gotten better each month that's gone on over the course of her WNBA career, which is exactly what you want to see. And so Kamilla, with the way that she is adjusting to the physicality, she's starting to use her length extremely well, and not just in the block shots, but the way that she's deterring shots by using her length now and understanding how to stay out of foul trouble while doing that. Kamilla Cardoso gets a solid B+ to me as well. I like what she's done in the framework of what I'm communicating and talking about, and she's just been overall really solid. Now, things to work on for Kamilla Cardoso as well. I want to see her call for the ball more often. I get it. She is a gentle giant in the sense that she's a very soft-spoken person in life. But on that basketball court, what we saw in South Carolina was a player that welcomed the physicality because you knew that there wasn't many people who can physically match up with her. She's adjusting. I think getting an offseason of full work is going to help her as well. But Kamilla Cardoso, I want to see play more physical. I want to see stay out of foul trouble, which has started to happen, so I got to give her credit for that. And then the timely fouls as well, right? So, but other than that, pick and roll defense has been a kind of a hit or miss thing. I think she's adjusting to not only size, but the consistent speed in the WNBA as well, which is a thing there where in the college she was able to use her length a little bit more on the faster guards. Here, they're so fast and they get to that spot so quick that the length she hasn't quite learned how to match that foot speed with that length, but it's coming. But Kamilla Cardoso has played extremely well for the Chicago Sky as well. I love what she's given this team, man. But that's my thoughts, guys. Overall, really love the way that these three ladies have performed. They have performed excellently, and they keep just giving this team exactly what we need. And so I love that aspect of it. I did say we had a voicemail today, though. And we'll get into that. Then we'll preview the Olympic game. Let's go ahead and play this voicemail. This one's from Big Von.
Yo, Chicago Sky Central. What it do, what it does. Your boy Big Von from the low end, man, calling in to check in with y'all. You know, I just got a couple little hot takes. I wouldn't even call them hot takes. I just got, some things to get off my chest. It's been a long time. We on All-Star break right now. And the first thing I want to talk about, Marina Mabrey being traded. Now, I know a lot of our, I like to say casual Sky fans, they was a little upset with Marina Mabrey being traded. But as we seen the reports came out, she wanted to be traded. This is something that she wanted. She felt like the time was now. She felt like maybe the Chicago Sky was holding her back. And it was time for her to spread her wings, and it was time for her to go compete for something, because right now the Chicago Sky, we're not competing for a championship this year. What we're doing, we're competing for contingency in the WNBA as a whole, and we're competing for our pride, our dignity, and we're trying to put the W on notice like, hey, we got 2 stars out of this last draft, and we're a young team that's if I'm not mistaken, 3-4 years removed from a WNBA championship. The Vegas Aces just came out of nowhere, and they just, snatched it up, because they was building a dynasty, low key. But I do believe the Chicago Sky is now building a dynasty, and I do believe we have the right pieces in set. Marina Mabrey, let's just be honest. She cost us a couple games, and just like she felt like, maybe we were holding her back, she was holding us back as well. So now this opens up minutes for more of the guard rotation and more guards to get play. I believe we got what's her name, Rachel Bertram. I know I'm butchering her name, but we got her, as well as the other players. Jefferson, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I believe she's injured. I know Rachel, she's not gonna start anything, but I know she's gonna get a quality amount of minutes. She's a player who hasn't been playing a lot of minutes anyway throughout her career, but I believe this opens up a rotation for, a Lindsey Allen, the Dana, and Rachel to carry that guard load, and hopefully it can open up the floor and get us more three-point shooting, because that's what we really need. We need more three-point shooting and more ball spacing. I mean, we got our 2 stars in the building, Angel Reese, double-double queen, Kamilla Cardoso, who's a do-it-all big. And it's time for Chennedy Carter to really come into her own and take this team by the reins and show the whole WNBA that she is a force to be reckoned with. So I'm looking forward to the Chicago Sky future. I do feel like this is a move where
the Marina Mabrey trade. Great insights on it. I agree with basically everything you said in regards to the Marina Mabrey trade. She wanted to go. It was time to move on. And don't get me wrong, would I have hoped that she was going to be able to fit in with this young team and kind of be a leader? Yeah. Because Marina Mabrey, I know this is not something that people who saw her just this year, because she was in a slump this entire year, basically, in the Chicago Sky uniform. And she was honest about that as well. I hope that she was going to be able to step up and kind of be that scorer. Me and Steve in the season preview talked about, like, Marina Mabrey was in a spot where they were hoping she was going to turn into a star. Now, she came here to play with Ka. She came here to play for James Wade. She came here to play for a team that was trying to put a championship team together. And she just wanted to get back to that rather than sit in a team that's clearly in a rebuild. And that's perfectly fine. I love what this guy got back for her and getting an additional first-round pick. The players, I'm not as high on Rachel Banham. I'm not as high on Jefferson. I'm not really as high on those players as some people are. I don't think they're going to come in and provide much shooting for the Chicago Sky. I know that they are solid shooters per percentage, but they're not volume shooters. So, and then also the lineup is weird now at some point. We got to talk a little bit about that. But overall, I agree with it. The Marina Mabrey trade was something that it just had to happen. And I think it was a circumstantial thing that had to happen. You moved on, and now we can focus on other things. That just is what it is and how I view it. I'm not expecting everyone to view it that way, but when it comes down to it, I'm not a woulda, coulda, shoulda person. Kind of once something happens, I come to the realization, okay, that happened. That's what it was. Let's move the hell on. And so that's what it comes down to Marina Mabrey. She did not play extremely well for us at all. She did some solid things, more than what some fans would have you believe. But overall, it left a lot to be desired. So we'll see what happens in the future. And hopefully Marina Mabrey gets what she wants. And hopefully the Sky, with now having 2 first-round picks, whether they package them to go up and get one player or they add multiple, because we can definitely continue filling this out with young talent, I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all. But let me know what you guys think on that down below. Now, before we go, I did say that I want to talk about this game because we missed the first Olympic game. I apologize. We will try to have post-game shows up after Team USA plays tomorrow against Belgium. But with that said, they do play against Belgium. So let's preview the game a little bit. So the Team USA, I almost said the Chicago Sky, Team USA completely and utterly destroyed Japan. When you look at it, they won 107-72. By the end of the first quarter, they led 22-15, 50-39 at halftime. And then that third quarter, they just completely blew it up. So it is what it is. Angel Wilson led that team with 24 points, 13 rebounds. Stewie had 24 points, 8 rebounds. The team was dominant against a Japanese team that just wasn't ready. Now, when you look at Belgium, they're also coming off a loss, 83-69 in Germany. Unfortunately, they got off to a first quarter deficit as well, 25-11. Ima Miesemann, who is a former Chicago Sky player, new Sky fans may not know that, 25 points, going 10-15 from the field. That's where I want the Sky. That's what I want Team USA to focus in on. You got to stop Ima Miesemann. Ima Miesemann is such a good passer, scorer, rebounder, everything. You have to lock in with her. And then also Julie Vonlo, I believe is how you pronounce it as well, 18 points as well, going 7 of 13 from the field. She can also shoot. The thing that hurt Belgium the worst is that slow start. They shot the ball 45.9% from the field and 27.8% from three-point range. They can definitely shoot that ball consistently if they need to, right? So they got to get those type of things together. And I think that this Belgium team, Team USA is going to be the favorite, and they should be in every game. But look out for those matchups in that Team USA game. But overall, I'm really excited about it, and I'm excited to break it down with you guys after the fact as well. But that's my time for today, guys. Make sure you guys are following us at Chicago Sky Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoSkyCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Sky related, but that's thanks to you guys. And I'll see you guys the next time we go to Skytown, y'all. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.